Now we will talk about UML component diagram. So UML component diagram actually provides a physical view of the system. We can also say that component diagram used to model physical aspects of a system. So what's this physical aspect mean? So physical aspects actually are the elements such as executable files or library files or simply the files in your system or the documents. So these are physical aspects. So this component diagram will show you the dependencies between these physical aspects. Okay, the dependencies of a file with another file, suppose a file with another library or executable, the dependency of an executable file on another file. So the component diagram is actually a visualization of the implementation view of the system. So how you are implementing it. So it's actually a representation of your implementation. So we can easily understand the purpose of this component diagram is different from other diagrams like class diagram or object diagram. UML diagram is related with the implementation phase of an application. Okay, so we use component diagram during the implementation phase of our application. So for designing a system, initially the system is designed using different UML diagrams like class diagram or other diagrams, and then when the artifacts are ready, then component diagrams are used to get an idea of the implementation. So it's very important, right? So if you want to implement your system efficiently, if you think about performance, if you think about application maintenance, then a well documented component diagram is really important for the implementation. So now if you want to draw a component diagram, what you have to do first, at first you have to identify the artifacts in your system. So the artifact means that the files, the header files you are going to use, the different libraries, different files in your system, different folders in your system. So you will identify those artifacts first, and then you will define the relationship among those artifacts, and then that's your component diagram. So the figure showing here, it's a component diagram for order management system. So they have given a simple component diagram. So they have just given 4 files here. So the customer file, order file. So the customer will place order and it will go to the order file, and then the normal order and special order are dependent on the order file. So this is the 4 components they have identified here. You can also add more folders, you can add more DLL files, you can add more libraries here in your component diagram. Okay, so this is the component diagram of order management system. So now we will discuss about UML deployment diagram. So deployment diagrams are typically used to visualize the physical hardware and software of a system. It's mainly used by system engineers, and it's used for understanding how the system will be physically deployed on the hardware. So we have to identify the hardware processors or nodes, or you can say hardware devices of the system, and the link between the devices and the placement of the software files on the hardware. So that's a deployment diagram. So in short, we can say deployment diagram is actually a visualization of the hardware topology of a system. So why do we need this UML deployment diagram? So if you are thinking of implementing a very complex business system, And if you think about supporting the increasing number of users, and if you're concerned about quick response time of your system, then the hardware components of your system should be designed efficiently and in a cost effective way, of course. So at that time, drawing a UML deployment diagram will be very helpful. And also from deployment diagram, it's very easy to see whether your application is standalone, or it's a web-based one, or it's a distributed one, or whether it's a mainframe based. So it's easy to see from a deployment diagram. So this is a deployment diagram of an order management system. The application is assumed to be a web-based application, and it's deployed in a clustered environment using 3 servers: server 1, server 2, and server 3, and user connects to the application using internet. So this is the deployment diagram of an order management system. I have added one more deployment diagram of a hospital management system. So here we have identified 4 nodes. All the desktops in the hospital will be connected to the hospital's local server, and a printer is connected to the server, and also we have a database in the hospital management system, and the database server is connected to the hospital's local server. So we have identified 4 nodes here, and we have drawn the connections between them. So this is a deployment diagram for a hospital management system.